It is the 19th of April 2026. Welcome to UBC's weekly roundup with me, Moureen Babirye. We're here to bring you details of what transpired in the past week and most probably today. In our first report, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni reaffirmed his commitment to development, wealth creation and national stability, pledging that in the new term of office set to begin next month, government will fast-track the distribution of free coffee seedlings to farmers across the country. The president made the remarks while presiding over celebrations marking the Lango sub-region's appreciation of the NRM and his January 2026 general election. The event held at Lango Technical College in Lida District. We have more of this report.
In Lango sub-region, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni kicked off the visits with the private engagements, which included the laying of the wreath at the grave of the late Ambassador Joseph Ochwet. The brief ceremony was attended by family members, friends and well-wishers.
Your Excellency, sir, after laying wreath on the graves of my late father and my late wife, who are resting behind there, so we have no better words to thank you.
I would like, therefore, using this occasion, to go back to the issue of ideology, the way of thinking. The first principle, that time we were using the word nationalism, but these days we prefer to use patriotism. But they mean roughly the same.
Later in the day, President Museveni arrived at Lango Technical College in Lira for public victory, celebrations and Thanksgiving events.
I want to thank all members of Parliament, all councillors, all voters for the good job they listened to us and to you when you came for election in Lango.
The event began with a prayer led by a team of clergy from Lango sub-region.
But will open a new chapter of purpose. As Lango has given generously, Lord, may Lango also be remembered.
Cabinet ministers, politicians, curricular leaders and opinion leaders occupied designated sitting areas.
You have brought in prosperity. There's a lot of development. Lira City is signing.
The men of God did not only deliver a gospel message, but also extended words of gratitude to the president.
Above all, we thank you for what you have done in our land of Lango.
The gathering, which included members of the public, reflected a broad moment of a celebration across Lango's sub-region.
You returned to Lango, a sub-region where you kick-started your 2026 presidential campaign. A sub-region that set the bar, standard and tone for the 2026 presidential campaign mobilization.
The event went beyond an election victory celebrations, also making an appreciation for peace, security and ongoing development in the region.
The people of Lango would like to appreciate you for the developments that we have received in Lango in the last 40 years. Allow me to start with the parish development model.
In his address, President Museveni commended the people of Lango for their continued support to the NRM party and their contributions to the national development agenda.
Apoyo Luakme Lango for Queen Mabel.
Number two, I thank the people of Lango for voting wisely.
He further reiterated his long-standing message on wealth creation, urging communities in Lango sub-region to actively engage in income-generating activities.
Now that the elections are over, things to be done are many. But me, I always insist on priorities among priorities. Now, priority number one is to make sure that all the households which have not benefited from PDM, in the next 5 years, all of them benefit.
As he prepares for the new 5-year term of office, President Museveni emphasized that priority funding will be directed towards agricultural transformation and other key socio-economic transformation sectors.
That's why, therefore, the leaders should not just talk generally, should be specific, parish by parish. How many homesteads have received the 1 million and how many are remaining? Because those who get support get out of poverty.
Lango sub-region is among the areas where both President Museveni and the NRM party recorded strong support in the January 2026 general elections, securing major elective positions. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Mary, Imat Maliam.
Now, at least 7 people were arrested, 50 illegal sand mining boats destroyed, and 8 trucks impounded in a joint operation by NEMA, Ministry of Water, and other sister agencies. The operation targeted hotspots in PG and Kalungu districts along the busy Masaka Road, one of the hubs of illegal sand mining. Take a look.
National Environment Management Authority, Ministry of Water and other sister agencies have conducted a joint operation that saw several illegal sand miners arrested, trucks impounded and boats destroyed. The operation to crack down illegal sand mining was prompted by increasing environmental degradation, particularly in wetland areas of Luera, where uncontrolled sand extraction has led to destruction of biodiversity, weakening of natural water filtration systems, and heightened risk of flooding.
A lot of contrabands, including canoes and other implements and equipments, have been seized, and our operation continues to ensure that Rotary ecosystem is fully liberated.
At Gwanika village in Nabyewanga sub-county, PG district, authorities impounded 8 sino trucks that were used in illegal sand transportation in the area. 6
suspects already in custody and will be processed for further management under our judicial system.
In Muzungu village, Luera, in Kamunga sub-county, Kalungu district, 50 boats used for illegal sand mining were destroyed. 7 suspects arrested, while 1 fled the scene. Temporal structures at different illegal sand mining sites were also demolished. Some of the affected truck drivers whose vehicles were impounded claimed that they were misled by site owners who allegedly assured them that the sand mining sites were licensed.
Batugamba nti basasula license ne tulina bukakafulaga nti basasudde license. Government etuyambe bwe basasudde license bazitimbenga ku mulyango tumenti n'ekirembe kikoze eki kisasudde kusinga emoka zaffe okujja ne tubonaabonera eno.
Environment offenses, we call them strict liability offenses. The person who is caught degrading the environment is the primary suspect. That doesn't mean that there are no other suspects. The landowner is a suspect and all people who have abated. So you may be a driver who has come to only buy sand. If we realize that you were involved in degradation, you are also a suspect.
The impounded trucks were taken to Kampala. The area L1 chairperson Ronald Semanda says the operation was long overdue, citing the devastating impact of sand mining on local infrastructure. He says that the roads in the area have become nearly impassable due to deep potholes caused by constant movement of heavy trucks ferrying sand.
Omusenyu guno abagusima banene nga ne bovaayo okubaako kyeyogera tebayinza kukiwuliriza. Era ekisinga okunnuma nti kwe kusemberera ekkubo lyaffe lino lye bali mu kukola nga tusuubira okutambulirako obulungi ate era bazemu baliwo omuggodde.
The exercise is intended to enforce compliance with environmental laws, restore degraded wetlands and ensure that only licensed operators engage in sand mining under strict regulatory guidelines. Susan Naung and Andrew Sebira reporting for ABC TV.
The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Nabbanja, implored internal auditors to be patriotic when executing their duties. The Premier was opening the 20th Annual Internal Auditors Conference at Speak Resort Hotel Munyonyo in Kampala. Take a look.
Speaking at the 20th Annual Internal Audit Conference at Speak Resort Munyonyo, Nabbanja urged auditors to focus on high-risk areas that could derail service delivery, especially in initiatives like the parish development model.
I was told the numbers of PPDA muzivaita kote muzitegedde. Are you to the parish? Aha. Okay. And because of that, and some of you are not patriotic, you let it go. And that's how parish chiefs have stolen our money. And that's why some of our people have not yet benefited. And those who have benefited have paid bribes. They charge these small people 300,000, 200,000. Even in areas which are near the district headquarters where you people sit. Can't you move on foot and see the nearest parish and ask you, parish chief, and you, the chairman, circle, let me see the members who have got. You tell them to even list down the people who have already so far got.
She emphasized the need for auditors to remain independent, act with integrity, and work closely with oversight institutions to fight corruption.
Act with courage. Now bakutumeya akanya waki. They can call you so and so. Even if they call you an abusive name. But when you have done something good, feel proud. Act with courage and independence. I know when you are independent, they will fight you. They will use all sorts of things to fight. Strengthen collaboration with oversight institutions, including Parliament.
Nabbanja described auditors as key goalkeepers of public resources and called on them to be patriotic and courageous in their duties.
Would you wish to go to Chankwanzi? So I'm going to influence and make sure I go to Chankwanzi. And for you to be more patriotic, you are also supposed to continuously advise management on building robust systems capable of withstanding shocks.
The President Institute of Internal Auditors, Ruth Doreen Moteve, stressed accountability in the use of government funds.
What we are doing now is aligning ourselves in those. And as things change, it means we have to enhance our skills. It means we need to have tools that are going to help us work. For example, the kind of technology that we are working with 10 years back would require us to probably just use Microsoft Excel to analyze data. Where we are at now, we are talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about robotics. So we need to build those skills.
This annual conference of the internal auditors helps the board to drive the mission to empower, guide, and transform our internal audit profession, at the same time transform our organization where we work.
The conference aims to strengthen auditing practices to support service delivery and socio-economic transformation. For UBC News, I am Sudat Kaye.
Still last week, the prison medical report prepared by Dr. Kajoba Charles indicated that the accused Christopher Okello Onyum is in stable condition despite suffering from prolonged sickle cell disease. This was disclosed in the court during the ongoing murder trial of Okello, following an order issued directing that his health status must be assessed. The order came after the accused appeared unwell, prompting the court to adjourn the proceedings. We have the details.
The Mobile High Court Criminal Division sitting in Gaba has continued hearing the murder case in which 4 children were allegedly killed, with Christopher Okello as the accused. The proceedings, presided over by Judge Alice Comhand Kauka, had testimony from prosecution witness number 10, Dr. Niwamanya Emmanuel, a psychiatrist attached to Uganda Police. He told court that he examined Okello on 7th April 2026 after receiving a request from Gaba Police Station. Niwamanya testified that upon examination, he observed injuries on various parts of the accused's body.
Bruises on the abdomen on the right side, 2 centimeters by 1 centimeter. He also had bruises across the back, 8 centimeters by 3 centimeters. My word.
He further told court that during interrogation, Okello appeared to be of sound mind, exhibiting normal behavior and cooperating. During the assessment,
he had history of past mental illness. I wrote the findings above. I noted as suggestive of a mental condition with psychotic episodes, as suggestive of a mental condition.
However, based on his evaluation, the doctor noted that the accused had a mental condition characterized by psychotic episodes.
He got the idea on recalling childhood folk tales of getting wealth, childhood folk tales.
Dr. Niwamanya also confirmed to court that during interrogation, Okello disclosed that he had a past mental illness between 2016 and 2025. He further stated that the accused was able to clearly explain his alleged reasons for killings, which he linked to beliefs in fortune hunting and personal enrichment.
What did he tell you? He had history of past mental illness, treated between the year 2016 and 2025.
The doctor additionally told court that Okello allegedly confessed to killing his 3-year brother between 2016 and 2017, claiming he did this in order to save himself from the troubles of the world.
In wealth by human sacrifice. He killed his 2-3-year-old brother in the year 2016 or 2017.
Following his examination in chief, Dr. Niwamanya was cross-examined by the defense. Prosecution witness number 11, Dr. Rogers Agenda, a psychiatrist at CK IHK, also testified before court. He told court that he first interacted with the accused when Okello was referred by the Ministry of Internal Affairs for a psychiatric report to support his application for Ugandan citizenship, which was later granted.
Yes. He also told me that he has no history of having had any traumatic experience in his life. That is a question that can help me elicit if someone has what we call PTSD.
Dr. Agenda testified that during his assessment on 30th December 2025, Okello reported no history of excessive fear, persistent worry, or abnormal goal-direct behavior.
That this person could be acting under the influence of probably voices, is hearing in his head, or could be seeing things others could see. He had lethargic mood. That's what we call basically a normal mood.
He added that in his professional opinion, the accused appeared normal at the time of evaluation. His first psychiatric assessment of him,
plus my personal mental state examination at the time he presented to me, I established that Mr. Oyon Christopher had no established mental disorder.
During cross-examination, Dr. Agaba acknowledged the defense's position regarding prolonged suffering from sickle cell disease and its possible link to mental disorders. After hearing the evidence in chief, Judge Alice Comhand Kauka adjourned the case to 20th April 2026 for further hearing, and the accused was further remanded to Ruzira Government Prison. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansubuga, UBC News.
Leaders from the National Unity Platform strongly criticized the proposed sovereignty bill, describing it as oppressive and a threat to the economic and political freedoms of Ugandans. At a press conference held at the party headquarters in Makerere, Kavule, top leaders of the National Unity Platform, including newly elected members of parliament from various constituencies, expressed concern over what they termed as increasing suppression under the proposed law and increased corruption, which hinders development. Take a look.
The leaders also condemned the ongoing eviction of traders under the so-called trade order, urging that many Ugandans are being displaced without proper relocation plans.
Develop bias on the current development that is being brought by the government. So we think that whereas this new law is being put into action, we should think about the already existing setup constructions vis-a-vis what we need to set up as a country. A government is responsible to think about its citizens. This government must have planned already.
They are sending away vendors in the disguise or in the name of trade order. But we the leaders are saying, let us first plan for these people. We all appreciate a city that has proper transportation, proper mobility, proper access to shops, to retail shops and all that. But how are we planning for these people?
Understanding that politics is not a joke. That politics is what determines how you live and actually how you die. Politics determines how you are born, how you live your life, and how you are born, and how you eventually die.
The party Secretary General David Lewis Rubongoya, newly elected Member of Parliament Mukono South Robert Masaluka, and others criticized the rising levels of corruption in the country, noting that despite heavy taxation, essential services such as roads, hospitals, and schools remain underdeveloped.
Current situation in our country, for us, we think it is entirely premised upon the government to take care of its own citizens. A government, there are no laws that work retrospectively. We cannot be working backwards.
There is a market that is under construction. It is called Chintali market. It only needs at least 1 billion shillings to be fully accomplished. But it hasn't been accomplished. Please don't divert taxpayers' money into personal gains.
On the sovereignty bill, the leaders urged that the proposed legislation is politically motivated and aimed at weakening the National Unity Platform, while also negatively impacting citizens' economic stability.
Invite all the people of Uganda to pay keen attention to this evil scheme, resist it and stop it. Intends to do is to identify Ugandans in the diaspora as foreigners. Can you imagine? And by implication, if your son or daughter who is on Cheyo, Uganda having failed to give him or her an opportunity to work in Uganda, sends you money and you receive it in Uganda, you are considered an agent of a foreigner.
Dr. Zedriga urged Ugandans to remain resilient and hopeful, assuring them that despite the current challenges, change is possible.
Many of you also had things to tell us, specific areas that you like us to contemplate on, but mine is the
National Unity Platform leadership has called on Ugandans to stay united and vigilant as the debate around the sovereignty bill continues to spark political tension across the country. I'm Bantu Machabe Semambo and Jamil Sekaja reporting for UBC.
Now, Rotary clubs in Uganda were applauded for their continued efforts in supporting vulnerable communities and complementing government programs across key sectors such as health and education. This was during the 101st District Conference of Rotary District 1341 held in Munyonyo. The Vice President Jessica Alupo presided over the event and called on Rotarians to remain committed to service above self.
The scenic shores of Imperial Resort Beach in Teve played host to Rotarians from across the globe as they gathered for the 101st District Conference of Rotary District 1341. Held under the theme, Unite for Good and Create an Impact, the conference attracted a diverse mix of participants, turning the venue into a vibrant hub of activity and networking. Presiding over the conference, Vice President Jessica Alupo commended Rotary clubs for their unwavering commitment to improving livelihoods and complement government programs in health, education and community development.
With the government's agenda of strengthening primary health care,
combating non-communicable diseases, and improving maternal and child health outcomes. They significantly reduce the burden on public health systems while extending services closer to the communities.
In his keynote address, guest speaker Robert Burale urged Rotarians not to relent in their mission to serve humanity, emphasizing resilience and dedication in reaching vulnerable populations.
You have to know, if you give up, if you do not do what you're supposed to do, there are children who may never go to school. There are mothers who may never have access to Medicare when they give birth.
Narayan Raju Subramanian, the Rotary of International President's personal representative, emphasized the need for clubs to remain focused on impactful service projects that create lasting change.
It is only with this collaboration that we can achieve what we all dream to achieve, ultimately peace, by eliminating poverty, illiteracy, disease, and inequality.
Senior Rotarian Charles Oduchachi described the conference as timely, noting that it will reinvigorate Rotary activities across Uganda.
I think this is extremely important. In any undertaking, it is always important to know exactly where we are going, what you have done right, and what you need to improve so that impact is made. When we are united for a big cause, we are stronger together.
So we are looking at how Rotary work has impacted different communities across Uganda.
We meet together and celebrate the achievement and also showcase the projects we have done, all the 7 areas of focus.
The 5-day gathering featured a series of activities, discussions and exhibitions drawing participation from Rotarians worldwide in a shared commitment to transform communities.
Now, still during the course of the week, the Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources implored Parliament to recover funds meant for water arrears from the recurrent budget of the perpetual defaulters of government ministries, departments and agencies. This, according to the chairperson, Habatarico, has highly crippled activities to boost water access to different parts of the country. As of end of March 2026, the outstanding arrears stood at approximately 75.37 billion Uganda shillings. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, directed the habitual ministries to respond accordingly. Take a look.
Honorable Rico, have you heard?
The chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, Habatarico, presented a report on the ministerial policy statements for the financial year 2026-2027. In the budget estimates, the committee reports that National Water and Sewerage Corporation is likely to face a funding gap of about 86 billion to cover 5 projects currently supported by government and development partners. National Water and Sewerage Corporation seeks 198.38 billion, but only 112.38 billion has been allocated.
As you might know, a multi-million 30 million cubic water supply project was set up at Karuma to supply Oyam, Gulu, and the neighboring districts of northern Uganda.
The report earmarks areas in critical need of water extension, including Bukedea, Nakauka, Hoima, and Kakumiro.
This provides us with a requirement of about 50 billion, to be specific.
The House was informed of what has been claimed to be a mischarge after ministries including Internal Affairs, Defence and Veteran Affairs have become habitual defaulters of clearing water arrears despite subvention.
Minister of Defence and Veteran Affairs, 40.3 billion. Uganda Police Force, 9.7 billion. Honourable Speaker, I wish to conclude.
On Tuesday, you give us a report on that mischarge, whether it was approved by PSST.
Right Honourable Speaker, most obliged, will come with the report.
Thank you, thank you.
The Committee on Environment and Natural Resources seeks the authority of Parliament to forcefully recover the arrears from the recurrent budgets of the affected departments.
and persistent non-remission should attract budgetary sanctions.
Meanwhile, the report maintains that the country is likely to reap about 2.20 trillion shillings oil revenue in the next financial year as Uganda heads into the commercial production phase. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda has been allocated 106.87 billion to spice its roles, including oversight, regulation, local content monitoring, among others. The budget for the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has also been spiced up with an increase of 438.11 billion compared to the current financial year. However, shillings 300 billion required to settle and complete the inherited Rural Electrification Agency projects is among the unfunded priorities.
The people in REA, their weaknesses notwithstanding, they had the confidence, they had the will of development partners, so that where this government was not able to find resources, they were able to sit down and write project proposals and attract money which was being used.
When the management would quarrel amongst themselves, but the lines would be fixed and power would be there. So all that you ought to have done was to remove those top guys who were fighting and leave the institution to be there, because they had very competent people, very, very competent people. But then the money that was transferred from REA to the ministry, what did that money do?
Nevertheless, the Ministry of Energy, through the Electricity Scale-Up project, plans to fulfill about 1,073,500 new connections in the next financial year. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The Executive Director of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, Canon Benson Turamie, has called on local providers and stakeholders to actively participate in government programs through local content initiatives. Canon Turamie made the remarks while in Gulu City during a stakeholder engagement in northern Uganda.
The day's activities began with a high-level engagement involving a delegation of PPDA officials from Kampala, led by Executive Director Canon Benson Turamie, alongside other directors, holding an interactive meeting with the staff at the authority's Gulu City offices. The delegation later proceeded to Gulu City Council headquarters for further engagements. While there, the team met with the town clerk and the deputy mayor to discuss key issues related to public procurement and service delivery.
This framework is going to start next financial year. How do you cost a kilometer of a Maramu road, whether it is rehabilitation, whether it is tarmacking, whether it is whatever? That one is also prepared for next financial year. We are standardizing unit rates of infrastructure projects.
The visit formed part of a broader regional tour aimed at engaging stakeholders across northern Uganda. Later in the day, PPDA officials, together with the technical team, met with a cross-section of northern Uganda's leadership, and this included city management, district leaders, security officials, civil society organizations, political leaders, and representatives from various government and private entities. The meeting also brought together persons with disabilities, as well as delegates from other districts across the northern region. The town clerk and deputy mayor implored the efficiency of the electronic government procurement system, introduced by PPDA, which they say has eased work.
As of now, we are now delivering services within the shortest time possible. Those previous days where bidders will be struggling with a lot of paperwork and so forth are now minimal, are now history.
This meeting is very, very important because it brings together all the key actors who are responsible for the ensuring of accountability, transparency, and efficiency in the management of public resources.
During the oversight and compliance inspections, PPDA Executive Director Canon Benson Turamie commended the procurement ratings of Gulu City.
If you move around and you look at the results, especially in areas of infrastructure, you will appreciate that the public procurement has contributed to the growth and the beautification of this city, especially as we talk about USMID, the USMID project of World Bank, which worked on these roads. That is also procurement. So generally, would say procurement has delivered in terms of infrastructure.
Kanoni Turami urged the local suppliers and contractors to actively tap into local content and inclusivity opportunities to benefit from government procurement.
You have to involve the local providers, because foreigners have repatriated the revenues that they get through public procurement. They are doing roads. The money is not invested here, is taken back to their home countries. So to protect that, the government said all the contracts below $45 billion of roads should go to our local providers, and that is a must.
However, some stakeholders raised concerns during the engagement.
I have noted that elderly are not included in this PPDA reform, and we need to include them. Secondly, the awareness among the interest groups should be increased.
So many junks, so many vehicles in the yards. Why are we keeping these vehicles for 20, 30 years? Why can't our department that is responsible for disposal, why do we still keep these vehicles? Why don't we dispose them off?
As the regulator, we are partnering with the Ministry of Works, which is in charge of registration of these vehicles equipment, and our aim is to identify, we've identified a number of entities that are badly off in terms of disposal, and we are going to undertake mandatory disposal led by the authority and also the Ministry of Works. Because many of the entities say we don't have the registration books for these things, we can't dispose them off, but it is government that is in charge of registration.
Governments on the youth project are responsible for contract signing, are responsible for monitoring and supervision. Now, colleagues, if you're the one that is providing an input into the bills of quantities, you're the one that is signing a contract with a contractor. You're the one that is also monitoring or supervising the project. When the project is not implemented in accordance with the scheduled or the projected cost and time, who do you blame?
PPDA monitors how government entities handle procurement, ensure transparency, accountability and value for money, as well as check compliance with the PPDA Act and regulations.
We already have a few areas in which we are working together, and we have seen insurance participate in a number of government contracts. For example, in the bidding process, we have the bid bonds, we have the performance bonds.
Inclusive. We really thank the government of putting the initiative of all the companies that are going to get projects in Uganda should employ a university graduate, a trainee graduate.
I'm Moeva Njuko, reporting for UBC in Gulu City.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, kabalansi? Nkuwaire 15. Mama, nkuwaire 15.
Ompaire 15.
Abantu abakuluma atandise obuyayo mwena.
Obuyayo obuliga.
Iwe.
Ngobi yanko
ba. Sente dange ninzade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
On his 52nd birthday, General MK invites you for a charity run. The run will be held on 26th April 2026 at the Kololo Ceremonial Grounds starting at 6 a.m. Get yourself a kit using these MTN and Airtel payment platforms. Run for charity, run for hope.
Run for charity, run for hope.
It's our mission to
secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
When you don't use Momo, you get insulted by strangers. Save yourself from insults. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo. When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama kabalansi? Nkuwaire 15 Mama, nkuwaire 15.
Ompaire 15.
Abantu abakulu mwatandise obuyayi mwene.
Obuyayi obuliga.
Iwe.
Ngobiyanko
bantu sente dange ninzade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Welcome back from the break. Now, a joint enforcement team from the Rotary and Gaming Regulatory Board and the Ugandan police has again proceeded with their major crackdown on illegal gaming operations across the country, targeting unlicensed gaming machines in a move aimed at restoring order in the sector under the operation dubbed Operation Machine Haram. The Senior Communications Officer at the Rotary and Gaming Regulatory Board, Jacqueline Kamakune, says that the exercise is part of ongoing efforts to eliminate unlawful gaming activities that have continued to operate outside the legal framework.
Speaking during the operation in Lango division in Kampala, the Senior Communications Officer at the Rotary and Gaming Regulatory Board, Jack Kamakune, emphasized that the crackdown is intended to protect the public, especially vulnerable groups, from exploitation by illegal gaming operators.
Today we are in the field to ensure that we confiscate or we eliminate these illegal gaming machines or unlicensed gaming machines.
She noted that many of the unlicensed machines are often installed in unauthorized locations and run without regulatory oversight, posing risks to users and denying government revenue.
We do due diligence to ensure that we have the right operators, the right manufacturers or suppliers in the market. Because if you want to be an operator, manufacturer or supplier of these gaming machines that you saw here today, you have to get a license. We do due diligence and we ensure that we have the right persons in the market.
Uganda Police, working closely with the Regulatory Board, has been deployed to ensure compliance and enforce during the exercise.
We know that it's going to be a success, again, because our team is working hard, our enforcement team, investigative team, and the board on a whole is working hard to ensure that these unlicensed gaming machines are eliminated from the market.
Several machines have already been impounded, with operators warned of possible arrest and prosecution if found in violation of the gaming regulations.
The machines that you see over here are not machines that come the way they are. They come in the country as motherboards that can be used to set up computers or programs or TVs. So some people assemble them from here, and that is why we have to ensure that that we confiscate them and we protect the public from being cheated and from getting addicted on what is not approved.
Authorities have also urged the public to report any suspicious or illegal gaming activities in their communities, stressing that only licensed operators are permitted to run gaming business in Uganda.
For anyone that wants to conduct a gaming or betting business in Uganda, they have to reach out to the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board and ensure that they get a license, because we do due diligence to ensure that we have the right operators, the right manufacturers or suppliers in the market.
The ongoing operation is expected to extend to different parts of the country as regulators intensify efforts to clean up the gaming industry and ensure it operates within the established legal guidelines. Kenneth Tanaba compiled this report.
Now, a love story rooted in faith, strengthened by service and sustained through generations saw John Wilson Twinomusinguzi and Enid Faith Twinomusinguzi mark an extraordinary 50 years of marriage, renewing their vows in a heartfelt Golden Jubilee Thanksgiving ceremony. The occasion was presided over by the Bishop Emeritus of Chigeze Diocese, Right Reverend George Katwesije, in a powerful tribute of enduring love, commitment and God's grace. Take a look.
Golden milestone in marriage was celebrated in Kavale as renowned Ugandan couple John Wilson Twinomusinguzi and Enid Faith Twinomusinguzi marked 50 years of marriage in a heartfelt Thanksgiving ceremony filled with gratitude, reflection and family celebration. The celebration brought together family, friends and members of the church community to honor a union that has withstood 5 decades of shared life, faith and commitment. The Thanksgiving service was presided over by the Bishop Emeritus of Chigeze Diocese, Right Reverend George Katwesije, who commended the couple for their enduring love and steadfast faith. Preaching from scripture, Bishop Katwesije emphasized love as the foundation of a lasting marriage, noting that couples who remain anchored in love stay rooted in God through all seasons of life.
This couple of today has lived to what they agreed upon when they started, to love each other and to continue in that love and be able to celebrate it publicly.
In a moving moment during the service, John and Enid Twinomusinguzi renewed their marriage vows before the congregation, reaffirming their lifelong commitment to each other. He highlighted that their 50-year journey stands as a testimony of faithfulness and divine guidance in marriage.
Join yourself together. When you join yourself together, you make a firm home. I have lived in Eden for 50 years because of one, resilience, being happy, and when things are there.
Marriage is not a very difficult thing because it depends very much on what you bring into it. If you are open-minded and you are prepared to make a success of it, and you are prepared to sacrifice and adjust and modify in order to accommodate the interests and aspirations of your partner.
Speaking during the celebration, John Trinom Singuzi reflected on their journey, describing it as one shaped by challenges, resilience, and unwavering faith.
We have already found that compromise, avoidance of unnecessary arguments, competitiveness between couples, and rigidity, and perpetuating old myths from our own past is the biggest impediment. Once you are clear-headed and you know where you are going and you are committed to the success of the enterprise of marriage, it is easy.
Don't try to be the other person. Be yourself. And when you are still courting, tell that person, this is my strength, this is my weakness. So that the person you are getting understands your strength, understands your weakness. When you are together, you try to promote the strength and you try to inhibit the weakness. That's how we have made our 50 years.
As they mark 50 years together, the Trinom Singuzi's union stands as a powerful testament to enduring love, commitment, and God's guidance through the decades.
Now, the Bishop of Busoga Diocese, the Right Reverend Professor Grace Lubale, has called upon clergies to guard and protect the values of the Anglican churches where they serve. The Bishop was speaking at the Busoga Diocese 16th Synod in Bugembe at Christ Cathedral.
Reverend Professor Grace Lubale, the Bishop of Busoga Diocese. Today we are constituting the 16th Synod. It will be on from now till 2030 for the next 4 years. Teachings that encroach in our ministry. We have a teaching of the Anglican Church, to which some people may not be good stewards. We must ensure we promote it. We are members of the Anglican Church, nothing else. So all our messages, content and discussion is subject to the Anglican Church, nothing else. So that's the point of stewardship, so that the church is strong and is firm. We simply say, Church of Uganda, the Anglican Church, has a standard of operation and procedure. If you can't afford, you exit. That's all.
Martha Mutale, the newly elected President Mothers Union of Busoga Diocese. Because I hope I will bring together the women and educate the girl child about the challenges of early marriages. I will involve all women in church to participate and see that they are able to educate their children in order to avoid the child labor.
Today my friends came from Chambogo University, Makerere and other learning institutions of higher degrees to interact with me, to visit me, to see where I am, and to increase partnership and solidarity, to inspire younger people that these things are possible. So it was a question of inspiration that things are possible, so that we can be good stewards of our time and we can support each other to grow strong in body and in spirit.
Is Reverend Dr. Nicholas Isaac Mukwana. I'm a teacher in Chambogo University. We have come as PhD holders from Busoga to visit the Right Reverend Professor Bishop. We have a PhD, then we have the obligation to change our communities, to do something to transform Busoga. And so that's the meeting we are going to have with him and see where we start, how far we can go.
In business, Absa Bank Uganda's profit for the financial year 2025 increased by 25.1%, while customer deposits grew by 46.4%. The bank attributes the growth to a relatively resilient economy supported by strong domestic demand and ongoing infrastructure development.
Absa Bank Uganda reported customer deposits of up to 4.6 trillion shillings alongside a 29.4% increase in total assets in 2025.
Our growth also is closely tied to the positive impact that we are creating in society. In 2025, we continued to invest intentionally in priorities that support our long-term progress. We mobilized financing for clean energy, e-mobility solutions, including the $50 million facility to UDCL that I spoke about, for smart grid and energy storage, $62 billion to water credit and mortgage loans for electric commercial motorcycles, $9.5 billion via UECCC to Greenlight Limited for off-grid solar deployment.
The growth, according to David Wandera, the Managing Director, Absa Bank Uganda, improves its ability to extend credit as demand for financial services continues to expand. Wandera says customer-focused strategies contributed to balance sheet growth and improvements in service delivery, while regional operations supported cross-border transactions.
The Uganda shilling, based on the Africa Financial Markets Index, was one of the top-performing currencies in Africa last year. At the same time, we saw foreign direct investment flows of approximately $3.5 billion, largely linked to oil and gas, infrastructure development, and these reinforced the medium-term growth outlook for Uganda. Uganda was also ranked third on the Africa Financial Markets Index, reflecting continued progress in these pillars that it measures market depth, access to foreign exchange, and overall financial stability.
We had very good growth in the retail bank, Obugalo to the retail guys. Moses just joined us, and clearly that's the kind of performance he's churning out. We have also seen business bank producing 15% of what we churned out, Obugalo to them as well.
Uganda's economy is projected to grow between 6 and 7%, according to the World Bank and IMF, driven by domestic consumption, public investment, and expected oil production. The anticipated start of oil production is expected to boost economic activity, with potential spillovers into sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and regional trade. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
And that brings us to the end of our UBC and Weekly News Roundup. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. My name is Moureen Babirye. I'll see you at 8 and 10 p.m. in our subsequent news bulletins tonight. Good afternoon.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.